Bernardo Bertolucci Omri was an Italian film director and screenwriter with a career that spanned 50 years. Considered one of the great filmmakers of the Italian cinema, Bertolucci's work achieved widespread international acclaim. He was the first Italian filmmaker to win the Academy Award for Best Director for The Last Emperor, one of many accolades including 2 Golden Globes, 2 David di Donatellos, a British Academy Award, and a César Award. In recognition of his work, he was presented with the inaugural honorary Palme d'Or Award at the opening ceremony of the 2011 Cannes Film Festival. He had previously received a Lifetime Achievement Golden Lion from the Venice Film Festival. A protégé of Pier Paolo Pasolini, Bertolucci made his directorial debut at 22. His second film, Before the Revolution, earned strong international reviews and has since gained classic status, being called a «masterpiece of Italian cinema» by Film 4. His 1970 film The Conformist, an adaptation of the Alberto Moravia novel, is considered a classic of international cinema, and was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay and the prestigious Berlin Golden Bear. In 1972, his erotic drama Last Tango in Paris erupted a firestorm of controversy over its graphic sexuality. Bertolucci's and star Marlon Brando's working relationship with actress Maria Schneider, and continues to spark debate. Bertolucci's films, the historical epic 1900, the family drama La Luna, and the darkly comedic tragedy of A Ridiculous Man, were likewise controversial but acclaimed. His 1987 film The Last Emperor, a biopic of Chinese monarch Puyi, was an critical and commercial success, earning rave reviews and sweeping the 60th Academy Awards. He followed its success with 2 more films in his Oriental trilogy, The Sheltering Sky, an adaptation of the novel of the same name, and Little Buddha, a Buddhist religious epic. His 1996 film, Stealing Beauty, brought him his second of 2 Palme d'Or nominations. He continued directing well into the 21st century, releasing his final film, Me and You, in 2012. Bertolucci's films often deal with themes of politics, sexuality, history, class conflict, and social taboos, marked by a sensual, colorful visual style that's proved influential to filmmakers around the world. Several of his films have appeared on lists of the greatest film of all time. Early life. Bertolucci was born in the Italian city of Parma, in the region of Emilia-Romagna. He was the elder son of Ninetta, a teacher, and Attilio Bertolucci, who was a poet, a reputed art historian, anthologist and film critic. His mother was born in Australia, to an Italian father and an Australian mother. Having been raised in an artistic environment, Bertolucci began writing at the age of 15, and soon after received several prestigious literary prizes including the Premio Viareggio for his first book. His father's background helped his career. The elder Bertolucci had helped the Italian filmmaker Pier Paolo Pasolini publish his first novel, and Pasolini reciprocated by hiring Bertolucci as first assistant in Rome on a cartone. Bertolucci had one brother, the theatre director and playwright Giuseppe. His cousin was the film producer Giovanni Bertolucci, with whom he worked on a number of films. Career directorial breakthrough. Bertolucci initially wished to become a poet like his father. With this goal in mind, he attended the Faculty of Modern Literature of the University of Rome from 1958 to 1961, where his film career as an assistant director to Pasolini began. Shortly after, Bertolucci left the university without graduating. In 1962, at the age of 22, he directed his first feature film, produced by Tonino Cervi with a screenplay by Pasolini, called La Camera Secca. The film is a murder mystery, following a prostitute's homicide. Bertolucci uses flashbacks to piece together the crime and the person who committed it. The film which shortly followed was his acclaimed Before the Revolution. The boom of Italian cinema, which gave Bertolucci his start, slowed in the 1970s as directors were forced to co-produce their films with several of the American, Swedish, French, and German companies and actors due to the effects of the global economic recession on the Italian film industry. Bertolucci caused controversy in 1972 with the film Last Tango in Paris, starring Marlon Brando, Maria Schneider, Jean-Pierre Leo and Massimo Garati. The film presents Brando's character, Paul, as he copes with his wife's suicide by emotionally and physically dominating a young woman, Jean. The depictions of Schneider, then 19 years old, were regarded as exploitative. In one scene, Paul anally rapes Jean using butter as a lubricant. The use of butter was not in the script. Bertolucci and Brando had discussed it, but they did not tell Schneider. She said in 2007 that she had cried, real tears, during the scene and had felt humiliated and a little raped. In 2013 Bertolucci said that he had withheld the information from Schneider to generate a real reaction of frustration and rage. Brando alleged that Bertolucci had wanted the characters to have real sex, but Brando and Schneider both said it was simulated. In 2016 Bertolucci released a statement where he clarified that Schneider had known of the violence to be depicted in the scene, but had not been told about the use of butter. Following the scandal surrounding the film's release, Schneider became a drug addict and suicidal. Criminal proceedings were brought against Bertolucci in Italy for the rape scene. The film was sequestered by the censorship commission and all copies were ordered destroyed. An Italian court revoked Bertolucci's civil rights for 5 years and gave him a 4-month suspended prison sentence. In 1978, the Appeals Court of Bologna ordered 3 copies of the film to be preserved in the National Film Library with the stipulation that they could not be viewed, until Bertolucci was later able to resubmit it for general distribution with no cuts. Bertolucci increased his fame with his next few films. From 1900, an epic depiction of the struggles of farmers in Emilia-Romagna from the beginning of the 20th century up to World War II with an international cast to La Luna, set in Rome and in Emilia-Romagna, in which Bertolucci deals with the thorny issue of drugs and incest, and finally La tragedia di un uomo ridicolo, with Ugo Tognazzi. He then wrote 2 screenplays based on Dashiell Hammett's Red Harvest. He hoped this would be his first film set in America, but nothing came of it. The Last Emperor and later career. In 1987, Bertolucci directed the epic The Last Emperor, a biographical film telling the life story of Aizen Gyouro Puyi, the last emperor of China. The film was independently produced by British producer Jeremy Thomas, with whom Bertolucci worked almost exclusively from then on. The film was independently financed and 3 years in the making. Bertolucci, who co-wrote the film with Mark Peploe, won the Academy Award for Best Director. The film uses Puyi's life as a mirror that reflects China's passage from feudalism through revolution to its current state. At the 60th Academy Awards, The Last Emperor won all 9 Oscars for which it was nominated: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing, Screenplay based on material from another medium, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Costume Design, Best Art Direction Set Decoration, Best Music, Original Score and Best Sound. The Last Emperor was the first feature film ever authorized by the government of the People's Republic of China to film in the Forbidden City. Bertolucci had proposed the film to the Chinese government as one of 2 possible projects. The other film was La Condition Humaine by André Malraux. The Chinese government preferred The Last Emperor. After The Last Emperor, The Sheltering Sky and Little Buddha, Bertolucci returned to Italy to film, and to revisit his old themes but with varying results from both critics and the public. He filmed Stealing Beauty in 1996, then The Dreamers in 2003, which describes the political passions and sexual revolutions of 2 siblings in Paris in 1968. In 2007, Bertolucci received the Golden Lion Award at the Venice Film Festival for his life's work, and in 2011 he also received the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. In 2012, his final film, Me and You, was screened out of competition at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival and was released early in 2013 in the UK. The film is an adaptation of Niccolò Amanetti's young adult's book Me and You. The screenplay for the movie was written by Bertolucci himself, Umberto Contarello and Niccolò Amaniti. Bertolucci originally intended to shoot the film in 3D but was forced to abandon this plan due to cost. Bertolucci appeared on the Radio 4 program Start the Week on the 22nd of April 2013, and on Front Row on the 29th of April 2013, where he chose La Dolce Vita, a film directed by Federico Fellini, for the cultural exchange. In the spring of 2018, in an interview with the Italian edition of Vanity Fair, Bertolucci announced that he was preparing a new film. He stated, "The theme will be love. Let's call it that." In reality, the theme is communication and therefore also incommunicability. The favorite subject of Michelangelo Antonioni and the condition I found myself facing when I moved on from my films for the few, those of the 60s, to a broader cinema ready to meet a large audience. As a screenwriter, producer and actor, Bertolucci wrote many screenplays, both for his own films and for films directed by others, 2 of which he also produced. He was an actor in the film Golem, The Spirit of Exile, directed by Amos Gatai in 1992. Politics and personal beliefs. Bertolucci was an atheist. Bertolucci's films are often very political. He was a professed Marxist and, like Luchino Visconti, who similarly employed many foreign artists during the late 1960s, Bertolucci used his films to express his political views. Hence they are often autobiographical as well as highly controversial. His political films were preceded by others re-evaluating history. The Conformist criticized fascist ideology, touched upon the relationship between nationhood and nationalism, as well as issues of popular taste and collective memory, all amid an international plot by Benito Mussolini to assassinate a politically active leftist professor of philosophy in Paris. 1900 also analyzes the struggle of left and right. On 27 September 2009, Bertolucci was one of the signatories of the appeal to the Swiss government to release Roman Polanski, who was being held awaiting extradition to the United States. On Twitter on 24 April 2015, Bertolucci participated in Who Made My Clothes? Fashion Revolution's anti-sweatshop campaign commemorating the 2013 Sava building collapse, the deadliest accident in the history of the garment industry. Bertolucci advocated the practice of transcendental meditation. We want to evoke the present and it is difficult to do it all together. We can only meditate, as in transcendental meditation. One of the most powerful experiences. Either you meditate or watch a good movie, then the two things start to touch. Death. Bertolucci died of lung cancer in Rome on 26 November 2018, at the age of 77. Honours Grand Officer of the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic of Italy, under proposal of the Council of Ministers. Gold Medal of the Italian Medal of Merit for Culture and Art of Italy. For having been able to combine poetry and great cinema as in the history of Italian cinema. For having known how to make different cultures and worlds dialogue, remaining strongly rooted in the culture of your country. For having been able to represent with passion and courage the political, social and cultural history of the last 100 years. Master's degree honoris causa in History and Criticism of Arts and Performance of the University of Parma. Bernardo Bertolucci is one of the greatest and recognized filmmakers in the world. His cinema is a reference point for entire generations of directors, has thrilled millions of viewers, also arousing extensive cultural debates that have gone well beyond the film industry, and is the subject of significant historical and theoretical studies published in all of the major world languages.